Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Where in the World series here on Go Westeros. In this episode, just like we did last time, we'll be looking at 3 minor houses in Westeros, what they've been up to, where in the world they are, and how they pertain to the overall stories that's being told. In the last episode, we looked at houses Blackwood, Fossoway of Cider Hall, and Harlaw, and this week, we'll be looking at House Bracken of the Riverlands, House Fossway of New Barrel, of the Reach, and House Brax of the Westerlands. At this point, I should mention that this does contain spoilers for all 5 novels in the Song of Ice and Fire series, so if you're not up to date, I would not continue much further. I'm your host Jack, and let's dive right in. As we covered House Blackwood last episode, it only feels right to cover their arch rivals, the Brackens, in this episode. The Brackens of Stonehenge are an old house from the Riverlands and are one of the main families sworn to the Tullys of River Run. Their sigil is a red rearing horse upon a shield of gold upon a field of brown. The words aren't known. The castle of Stonehenge is located south of the Red Fork and the Inn of the Kneeling Man, north of High Heart and Acorn Hall, and east of River Run. The Blackwood Vale, their rivals' lands, is to the north. Known members of House Bracken throughout the events of The Song of Ice and Fire include Lord Jonas Bracken, his many daughters Barbara, Jane, Catelyn, Bess and Alysanne, as well as Hendry, his nephew. Harry Rivers, the bastard of Bracken, the natural son of a member of House Bracken, is claimed to be Lord Jonas's boy, although it's not explicitly stated. The Brackens have the blood of the first men in their veins and were kings during the Age of Heroes. As mentioned, they have a fierce rivalry with the Blackwoods, and they claim that the Blackwoods were vassals of them before they betrayed them and usurped their crown. The Blackwoods claim the opposite. Their feud has continued throughout the years, aided by House Bracken's change to the Faith of the Seven after the Andal invasion. There have been numerous pieces, however, between the two rivals, many sealed by marriage, but the feud always restarts. Benedict Rivers was a bastard born of both houses. He, of course, eventually went on to become King Benedict I of House Justman, and I will cover the history of House Justman in a future episode. I will be looking into extinct houses. When Lady Agnes Blackwood led the resistance of the Riverlords against King Harwin Hoare of the Iron Islands, Lord Lothar Bracken attacked her army from behind. It is highly possible that Lothar hoped to become King of the Trident after Harwin defeated the Storm King, Aric Durrandon. Of course, the Durrandons occupied the Riverlands at this time, but instead the Hoares of the Iron Islands took the Riverlands for themselves. King Harwin then starved Lothar to death when he revolted. The Brackens aided Aegon the Conqueror during his War of Conquest. He was luckily pissed off when Aegon named the Tullys Lord Paramount of the Trident, he being the Lord of Bracken at this time. Other famous Brackens include a Lord Bracken who served as Hand of the King for Aegon IV. His own daughter, Barbara, was the 5th mistress of Aegon VI. There's quite a history of the Brackens. You can read it on the wiki page. I'm going to move on to the point of this episode, which is the current events, so go check that out. When we come to A Song of Ice and Fire, we first hear of the Brackens from 3 Bracken men-at-arms, Curlicute, Larys and Mohor, who assist Catelyn Stark in arresting Tyrion. Those 3, of course, are a reference to the 3 Stooges, which George Martin is a fan of. They die on the trek to the Vale. In the outbreak of the War of the Five Kings, the mountain burns the Bracken lands, laying waste to their fields, slaughtering the small folk and leaving Stonehenge in a smoke and ruin. Lord Jonas is listed among the nobles that King Joffrey insists must do him homage or be named a traitor in the eyes of the crown. Lord Jonas arrives at River Run after the Battle of the Camps. At the War Council at River Run, he suggests to plead fealty to Renly Baratheon, perhaps only to contradict Lord Titus Blackwood's suggestion, which is to continue fighting the Lannisters. Lord Jonas joins in the other lords and professes Robb Stark as King of the North. In a clash of kings, Lord Jonas recovers Stonehenge from the Lannisters, but he is wounded and his nephew Hendry is killed in the fighting. In a storm of swords, Lord Quentyn Bainfort, a Westerlord, is held captive by the Brackens. The Lannisters claim Harry Rivers, the bastard of Bracken, is killed by the Brotherhood without banners. Of course, mentioned Harry may possibly be Lord Jonas's bastard-born son. Lord Jonas is among the 7 nobles who launched the funeral boat of Lord Hoster-Tully. Following the Red Wedding, Lord Jonas surrenders to the Iron Throne and receives a royal pardon. They then fight the Blackwoods, of course again, who remain loyal to the Starks. In a feast for crows, dead soldiers bearing the colours of House Bracken wash up on the Quiet Isle. They are buried next to the Blackwood rivals. Later on, they besiege the Blackwoods at Raventree Hall. Coming to the final book, A Dance with Dragons, Lord Titus Blackwood refuses to surrender to Lord Jonas, leading to Jaime Lannister attempt to resolve the siege of Raventree. Jonas desires to gain the East Bank from Widow's Watch. The lands are covered in the previous episode. In the Blackwood recap, there's numerous named places. Jaime orders Lord Jonas to send one of his daughters to serve Cersei in King's Landing. Well, Lord Jonas settles for only in a few places. It's revealed that a dozen Bracken men are killed in the Red Wedding, and that rounds up all we know of House Bracken so far. We'll most likely hear them again in Winds of Winter, Dream of Spring, upcoming books. They're one of the major houses of the Riverlands, so I don't see why not. We covered House Fossoway of Cider Hall in the last episode, and this time we're going to be recapping the Green Apple Fossoways of New Barrel, a cadet branch. Their sigil, instead of a red apple, is a green apple with a green leaf on a yellow-orangey field. The Green Apple Fossoways are a knightly house rather than the Red Apples, who are a lordly house. Their words are not known. Current members of House Fossoway of New Barrel include Sir John, the head of the Green Apples, the Knight of New Barrel, his wife Lady Jana, the sister of Lord Mace Tyrell, so they're in good standing, I suppose. And unspecified relations of the house include Lady Jane, the wife of Sir Gunther Hightower. We'll be covering the Hightowers in a future episode. As covered in the previous episode, the Green Apples date back to 209 AC, when Raymond Fossoway took a different side to his cousin, Sir Stephen Fossoway, in a trial of 7 at Ashford Meadow. This, of course, takes place in the Hedge Knight novella. This is to differentiate from his cousin, and he repaints the red apple on his shield green. We are first introduced to the Green Apples in A Clash of Kings, with Sir Arnel, a Knight of the Night's Watch, who is a son of an unnamed Green Apple. The Green Apple banners are spotted beneath the walls of Bitterbridge by Lady Catelyn. During the feast with Renly Baratheon's army at Bitterbridge, Catelyn is placed between Lord Mathers Rowan, who we've covered before, and Sir John Fossoway. She considers Sir John a genial man. Both branches of Fossoway turn to Stannis Baratheon following the mysterious death of King Renly. Sir Courtenay Penrose, the Castellan of Storm's End, acknowledges Sir John, and after his death, Courtenay's death that is, his lieutenant, Lord Elwood Meadows, a cousin to the Fossoways, surrenders the castle. The banners of the Green Apples are spotted in Stannis' vanguard as it approaches King's Landing. During the Battle of Blackwater, Lothar Brune cuts his way through 100 Fossoway men to capture Sir John. He also kills a couple of named Red Apples as well. Later, Sir John is one of the nobles that bends the knee to King Joffrey. In A Storm of Swords, Tyrion observes a Green Apple Fossoway, and his pregnant wife at Joffrey's wedding. He often kisses her and caresses her stomach. It's not clear which Fossoway this could be. Coming to their final book appearance in A Feast of Crows, Lady Janna Tyrell, the wife of Sir John Fossoway, is one of the companions of Queen Marjorie Tyrell, her niece. She often goes hawking with her and Merry Crane. Brienne spots the Green Apple badge among those collected from the dead after the Battle of Duskendale, and that concludes the Green Apple Fossoways of New Barrel and their involvement so far in the events of the Song of Ice and Fire. House Brax of Hornvale are a noble house from the Westerlands and are among the chief bannermen to House Lannister. Their sigil is a purple unicorn on a field of silver. The words aren't known, but there are numerous members of this house listed on the Wikipedia throughout the events of Song of Ice and Fire. Lord Andros Brax, his eldest son Titus Brax, his second son Sir Robert Brax, his third son Sir Flemont Brax, Flemont's son Robert Brax, Flemont's second son Walder, and Flemont's third son John. Sir Rupert Brax is Lord Andros's brother, so here there are quite a few in the male line. House Brax was established during the Andal invasion through the marriage of First Men and Andal nobles. Lord Andros once visited Riverrun in an attempt to arrange a marriage for one of his three sons to Catelyn or Lysa Tully. We are first introduced to House Bracken in A Game of Thrones among a gathering of knights at the Hand's Tourney. One of the knights has the arms of House Brax. During the War of the Five Kings, House Brax answers the call of Lord Tywin Lannister. Sir Flemont commands the Outriders that find Tyrion Lannister and his clansmen, along with Bronn, descending from the Mountains of the Moon on their way out of the Vale. Flemont rides in the right flank during the Battle of the Green Fork. Lord Andros and his bannermen are in Sir Jaime Lannister's host. He later commands the western camp during the Siege of Riverrun. Sir Titus Brax is captured during the Battle of the Whispering Wood. While crossing the river in an attempt to defend the other camps, Lord Andros Brax drowns during the Battle of the Camps after his raft overturns and the weight of his armour takes him under. Sir Titus becomes the Lord of Hornvale, but unfortunately spends the war in captivity in an unknown keep. In the Clash of Kings, Sir Rupert Brax is slain at the Battle of Oxcross. The Brax colours are seen by Arya Stark with Tyrion's army as it leaves Harrenhal. Sir Robert Brax dies at the Battle of the Fords. His brother, Sir Flemont, also tries to cross the fords, but to no avail. He doesn't die though. In A Storm of Swords, Sir Flemont is one of the nobles that accompany Tyrion to welcome Prince Oberyn Martell at King's Landing. Flemont is called for witness during the prosecution in the trial of Tyrion for the death of King Joffrey. He tells how he heard the imp threatening the king. To close out House Brax's involvement in A Song of Ice and Fire, during A Feast for Crows, Lord Titus Brax, who is now free of captivity, comes to King's Landing to escort the corpse of Tywin Lannister to the Westerlands. Sir Flemont accompanies Sir Jaime through the Riverlands to finish the siege of Riverrun, commanding a company of 200 heavy horse. And as we wrap up on this episode and House Brax, we wrap up on Where in the World. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found at least some of what I said helpful in your quest to gain as much knowledge of this world as possible. Remember to find me on Twitter at GoWesteros. Drop me a comment, a tweet, some advice, some criticism, or please just say hello. I've been Jack, your host, and I'll see you all very, very, very soon.